Gentlemen, imagine if no one could unsettle you anymore, not through harsh words, not through stony silence, nor through outright betrayal. Most men over 40 live on the edge of provocation, a single derisive comment, a promise unkept, or the slightest delay ignites their fury, breeds bitterness, or drains their vitality. This isn't due to a merciless world, but because they have yet to master the art of commanding their own emotions. But the Stoic philosophers grasped a truth we've long overlooked. True power resides with those who maintain composure amid intense pressure. Mental fortitude isn't about physical might, but about unwavering control. And mastering yourself begins with this immutable principle: you are not obligated to react. In this video, you'll discover how to cultivate emotional mastery in the timeless Stoic tradition, discover how to prevent others from provoking you, and preserve your inner peace like a seasoned man, untouched by surrounding turmoil. You'll grasp why tempering your expectations isn't a sign of frailty but of profound wisdom. Silence isn't capitulation, but a calculated approach. And remember, emotions themselves aren't the adversary. It's your unchecked responses to them that pose the real threat. If you've ever sensed that others dismiss your composure, or that life perpetually disrupts your equilibrium, know that you're in good company. But today marks a turning point. This isn't fleeting inspiration. It's a deep-seated shift. Remain with me. The insights ahead could redefine your approach to every obstacle. If this strikes a chord, give the video a like, subscribe, and pass it on to a fellow seeker. For true strength lies not in clamor, but in steadfast endurance. From this instant forward, no individual or circumstance will dictate your serenity. First, forge self-mastery into your impenetrable shield. There's a fleeting instant, often overlooked, where a man forfeits his authority, an interruption, a sneer, an act of disregard, and inwardly, the tempest brews. His chest constricts, his jaw locks, his voice erupts. Tranquility evaporates in an instant, not because the antagonist is superior, but because he yielded to reaction, and in that yielding, concède defeat. We frequently confuse reactivity with potency. We believe the one who retorts fiercely holds the upper hand, yet the stark reality is far more sobering. Power doesn't reside in the uproar. It dwells in the deliberate silence you elect. Self-mastery doesn't mean eradicating emotions, but denying them dominion over you. You needn't turn stoic in numbness, but in precision. Anger is primal, swift, boisterous, fervent, and perilous. It mimics decisive action, yet frequently culminates in remorse. When an insult strikes and you erupt, victory is theirs, for they've pierced your armor. They dictate your mental realm, and unwittingly, you permit them to author your narrative. The man prone to agitation lacks fortifications, lacks limits. His feelings are communal domain. Any passerby can intrude, trigger a switch, and commandeer him momentarily. Now envision a different man. He absorbs the identical affront, yet stands resolute. His breathing remains even, his gaze unwavering. He isn't repressing the impulse. Through diligent practice, he's conquered it, for he comprehends that emotional command isn't merely for show of resilience, but to safeguard the keys to your tranquility from outsiders. This embodies the Stoic's essence, not driven by vanity, but by sovereign command over your hours, vigor, and inner realm. You may have encountered this yourself. Trapped in congestion, another driver swerves ahead. Your pulse races. Retorts form on your tongue. Yet the incident fades. Tension lingers. Focus wanes. Equilibrium falters. Such is the toll of reactivity. You bear it well beyond the fleeting event. The Stoic gentleman recognizes this. Thus, he halts. He allows the emotion to crest, yet refuses its sway. He draws a deep breath. He recalls that the universe owes him no flawless order. Control rests firmly in his grasp. Many exist in survival mode, perpetually primed to defend, affirm, or retaliate. But that stance diminishes you. It entrusts your identity to others' whims. If they offend, you counter. If they commend, you beam. You lose your steadfastness, becoming merely responsive. The responsive man is enslaved to the world's emotional tides. So how do you construct this shield? Commence with the pause. When provoked, withhold speech. Refrain from motion. Sense the surge within, but decline to ride it. Observe it. Acknowledge it. Yet, disobey it. That pause is your dominion. It's where you shatter the cycle. Over time, you'll grow less reactive, more serene. You'll cease combating noise with noise. You'll abandon pursuing justice in trivial squabbles. You'll guard your energy as if it were your very life, because it is. This doesn't imply passivity. The Stoic man doesn't ignore injustice, but discerns when to engage and when to release. He knows when to voice truth and when silence wields greater might. He selects his battles wisely, and when he commits, he does so with clarity, not in heated rage. You needn't prove your strength. You must command it. The loudest in the room is often the least controlled. The silent, composed, unblinking, one evokes true authority in others. That's the man who commands respect. From this moment, let composure be your initial instinct, not reaction. Make serenity your habit. Let equanimity define your presence. When you achieve this mastery, you become invulnerable, not because challenges cease, but because they no longer access what once governed you. Second, temper expectations of others. You suffer repeated disappointments because your anticipations soar too high. That's the snare. It creeps in subtly with the notion that someone ought to be more understanding, do more, empathize more. You expect them to utter the right words, value you, honor your boundaries without prompting. But when they fall short, you feel it keenly. Frustration, anger, even betrayal surges. You start believing everyone lets you down. But the simple, harsher truth is this: they're merely being true to themselves. The pain stems not from their actions, but from your expectation that they should be otherwise. Expectations are unspoken contracts you draft alone, with no one's signature. You assume a friend will shield you. A partner will exhibit more patience. A colleague will acknowledge your efforts, but they don't. And in the gap between what you anticipated and what you received, your peace dissolves. That chasm nurtures resentment. You shoulder the burden of unattainable standards, and it begins to crush you. The Stoic wastes no time blaming others for being who they are. Marcus Aurelius awoke each morning reminding himself he'd encounter the ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, not from pessimism, but preparation. When you accept human nature, you cease demanding perfection. You stop entrusting your peace to the nearest letdown. You don't anticipate calm in a storm or clarity amid chaos. You learn to see people as they are, not as you wish them to be. Envision entering a room with zero expectations. You don't presume the server will be courteous, the driver composed, or friends will recall your birthday. You simply observe. You engage. You respond, but not impulsively. You've freed yourself from the invisible chains of assumptions. You're no longer shocked when someone disappoints you because you've let go of the notion that they owe you what they never promised. This freedom is subtle, yet it transforms everything. Most men over 40 tie their inner peace to others' behavior. A stranger's rudeness can ruin their morning. A family member's silence can stretch tension for weeks. But what if you could untie that knot? What if you stopped expecting others to deliver your peace in a neat package? What if you ceased demanding that flawed people act perfectly? That's where Stoicism thrives. It embraces reality on its own terms. It doesn't demand fairness from those who don't yet grasp it. It doesn't seek understanding from those still wrestling with themselves. It says, meet people where they stand, and don't let their actions shake you. Here's something you can do now. Think of someone who consistently lets you down: a friend, coworker, or relative. Ask yourself, am I upset because of what they did, or because of what I thought they should do? Write it down. Say it aloud. Let that question become your mirror. In that moment of reflection, clarity emerges. You haven't been betrayed. You've just expected too much. Lowering expectations doesn't mean growing cold. It means gaining clarity. It's not the death of hope, but the birth of understanding. You don't need to stop caring for others. You must stop letting your hopes for them become weapons they wield against you. Start today. Declare, I will see people as they are, not as I wish them to be. I won't beg rain to be sunshine. Instead, I'll build my shelter. That's Stoic freedom, not escaping others, but shedding the burden of needing them to be different. Third, cultivate indifference to provocation. Some people don't seek peace. They crave your reaction. They prod. They taunt, waiting for you to erupt, because that's how they feel in control. When you lose your calm, they win not because they're stronger, but because they've drawn you into their chaos. The moment you react, you enter their arena. You let them define who you become. That's the real loss, not the insult or the argument, but allowing them access to your core. Stoic indifference isn't apathy. It's not ignoring injustice or pretending pain doesn't exist. It's refusing to let anything unworthy of your energy steal it. You choose where your mind lingers. You decide who gains entry. You guard your focus as sacred because it is. Each time you let a fool provoke you, you abandon your throne to wrestle in the mud. Recall the last time someone deliberately irritated you: a stranger on the road, a disrespectful colleague in a meeting, a family member who knows exactly how to push your buttons. You felt the fire ignite, words forming, tension building in your chest. That's the defining moment, the test. Most men fail it. They speak too soon. They act too fast. They surrender the very strength they aim to protect. Now, picture a different outcome. The same insult, the same provocation. But this time, you pose. You sense the urge to react, but hold back. You let the words fall without piercing your mind. You observe, then decide, not worth it. You walk away, not retreating, but commanding the moment. That's not weakness. It's dominance. The man who doesn't flinch holds the room. The one who stays calm owns the moment. Epictetus said, "If someone tries to harm you and you refuse to accept it, they've failed because pain requires your consent." Insults only stick when you agree to let them, but when you counter noise with silence, when you refuse to engage every jab, you rise beyond their reach. You become untouchable not by fighting harder, but by not fighting at all. This doesn't mean passivity. You still act when necessary. You set boundaries. You speak truth. But you choose your battlefield. You don't get dragged into every petty skirmish. You don't explain yourself to those who only want to misunderstand. You don't argue with noise. You stride past it with purpose. That's the Stoics' emotional strength, a disciplined mind at peace. Next time someone provokes you, try this. Pause for 3 seconds. Just 3. In that silence, feel everything. But don't act rashly. Ask yourself, do I really want to hand them this control? Then decide. That pause is where character forms. Silence separates the strong from the impulsive. Practice this daily in small moments, at the market, in traffic, during arguments. Don't respond just to feel relief. Let silence speak for you. Let composure unsettle them. The one who shouts has lost control. The one who doesn't flinch forces others to shift. Let them talk. Let them mock. Let them try. But guard your energy like gold, for it's your greatest treasure. When you stop reacting to every provocation, you gain something rare: clarity. You reclaim peace. You reclaim yourself. Start now. Find a situation today where you'd normally snap. But this time, don't. Smile. Breathe. Move on. That's how a Stoic triumphs quietly, completely, outside their game. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. Moments of frustration or unexpected challenges aren't chaos, they're mirrors. Life shows you who you are when things don't go your way. Most men over 40 crumble. They complain. They ask, "Why me?" But the Stoic man asks, "What am I called to build within myself right now?" Pain isn't personal. It's a lesson. Every disappointment is a weight to forge your character. Every setback is a furnace for discipline. But only if you stop reacting and start responding. Only if you refuse to see yourself as a victim and instead become the architect of your inner strength. The world doesn't grow kinder. You simply grow better at facing it. When a coworker disrespects you, when your partner snaps unexpectedly, when plans collapse at the finish line, you're in life's training ground with 2 choices. Let the moment diminish you or let it refine you. Most men rage and blame. A Stoic breathes, observes, learns, and resolves, "I won't waste this pain." The truth is, comfort doesn't shape character. Stress does. Inconvénience does. Tough conversations, betrayals, delays. They aren't obstacles in your path. They are the path. You only see this when you stop fleeing and start using them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Fire transforms what it consumes into flame." This isn't poetry, it's discipline. What seems to break you becomes your fuel. It's easy to be kind when others are kind, calm when the world complies. But when someone yells in your face, when life throws curveballs, when pride is wounded, that's when truth emerges. That's when your values cease being mere ideas and face their true test. Your strength shines not in ease, but under pressure, The man who holds his calm amid the storm is the one who can conquer anything. Don't wait for the world to soften so you can grow. It won't. Instead, shift how you view hardship. See it not as disruption, but as an invitation. You're being called to step into a stronger version of yourself. You don't need a perfect life to do this. You just need to treat every irritation as a drill. Even the small things, a delayed email, a cold glance, a traffic jam, are where the real work happens. Quietly, daily, with purpose. Here's how to apply it. Next time frustration rises, catch it early. Don't run from it. Name it. Then ask, what is this shaping in me? Make a conscious choice about how you'll respond. Will you shout and lose control? Or stand firm and build resilience? Will you argue or hone your ability to stay composed? Strength isn't a switch you flip. It's forged in moments like these. It's not about pretending you don't feel, but choosing not to let feelings rule you. You're allowed to struggle, but you don't have to fall. You're allowed to feel the burn, but you can also turn that fire into fuel. When life pushes back, don't see it as an insult. View it as a chance, a moment to forge the unseen qualities: dignity, self-control, and your quiet strength. Fifth, observe emotions without letting them steer you. A man doesn't fall because he feels. He falls when he follows every emotion blindly. Anger soars, and he acts. Fear whispers, and he freezes. Shame creeps in, and he hides. But what if you could see these as clouds passing across your sky, not becoming your storm? This isn't denying emotions, it's stripping them of their power to control. Emotions are signals, fleeting and fiery, but not commands. You're not your rage. You're not your anxiety. You're the one who watches them arrive. If you learn to observe without merging, you hold on to freedom. Freedom isn't suppressing emotions, it's refusing to be swept away by them. This is a muscle you can train. The Stoics don't say to stop feeling, they say feel, but don't blindly follow. Picture yourself in a crowded room. Someone mocks you. The heat rises. Your jaw tightens. Your pulse quickens. That's real. But pause. Instead of lashing out, breathe. Instead of retorting, name it. This is anger. I feel it, but I won't act on it. You've just broken the chain of reaction. You've taken the helm of your life. Most men don't do this. They live on autopilot, believing every emotion must be expressed. But Stoicism teaches there's a gap between stimulus and action. In that gap, you reclaim control. That's where emotional strength is built. Not by pretending you're unaffected, but by standing firm as the storm rages within. To do this, you must practice awareness, observing without judgment. A thought arises. Don't seize it. An emotion surges. Don't let it drive you. Watch it. Through that distance, you find your power. We often act before thinking, then blame the world for the chaos that follows. But the root of turmoil isn't external, it's within the unexamined self. When you hand the microphone to your emotions, your values go silent. When impulse is led, your wisdom is left in the shadows. The Stoic man reverses this. He sees the fire but chooses not to burn. He feels the sting but doesn't strike back. Knowing strength lies not in force, but in restraint. Restraint isn't weakness, it's clarity. It's the quiet command of a man who's learned to pause Observe and choose. Start practicing now. At work when frustration flares. At home when disappointment strikes. When fatigue or provocation hits before speaking. Pause before acting. Check your emotions. Ask, what do I feel? What do I want to build from this? If the answer serves no purpose, let it pass. If it fosters growth, act. But only after the inner storm calms. 10 seconds of awareness can change everything. This isn't theory, it's discipline. Emotional endurance isn't loud or showy. It doesn't crave applause. It lives in the silence between your feelings and your choices. Each pause strengthens that silence. You might think not reacting is a loss, but you're gaining everything: balance, vision, dignity. The world doesn't need more men shouting back. It needs men who stay silent, see clearly, and act only when the moment is right. So start now. When emotions surge like a wave, don't fight or follow it. Stand still, breathe, observe, and move forward with choice, not impulse. Sixth, embrace gratitude, even in discomfort. Gratitude flows easily when life is sunny and smooth. But when your morning starts with bad news, when a trusted friend lets you down, when traffic steals an hour of your day, what then? Most men complain. They replay the moment. They hunt for someone to blame. With every grumble, they dig deeper into bitterness. But the Stoic rises differently. He knows gratitude isn't reserved for comfort. It's a tool for clarity. Being grateful in pain isn't pretending it doesn't hurt. It's recognizing that within discomfort lies a chance to grow, a moment to hone patience, test endurance, or deepen humility. While others dwell on what's lacking, the Stoic seeks what's possible: a lesson, a new perspective, an inner muscle being forged. He sees discomfort not as a break in peace, but as the arena where true peace proves itself. Imagine you're stuck in line, running late. Your phone buzzes relentlessly, and nothing moves. The heat rises, you want to sigh, snap, demand the world cooperate. Instead, breathe. Look around and tell yourself, this can teach me. Suddenly, it's no longer a delay, but a training ground. You're not wasting time. You're building resilience. That shift, choosing to reframe the moment, is how emotional strength is tempered. Most men dodge hardship, chasing convenience, but that breeds weakness, not strength. You grow when life pushes back, and you choose to face it. Ask, what does this frustration reveal about me? That question turns annoyance into insight. When you express gratitude for a moment that reveals what you need to refine, you take the first step toward true resilience. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." This isn't metaphor, it's reality. Growth doesn't come from ease. It comes from resistance, but only when you meet challenges with the right mindset. Gratitude is that mindset. It's not about thanking injustice or cruelty, but appreciating the chance to respond better than before. This is the pivot. You stop begging life to be easy. You start asking to be stronger. Every tough moment becomes an answer to that prayer. Gratitude becomes your strategy. You wield it to reshape how you experience setbacks. It doesn't mean you enjoy every event. It means you refuse to waste anything, even pain. Here's your exercise. At day's end, recall a moment that irked you, a minor irritación. Then ask, what did this moment train in me? Did it demand patience, challenge my ego, remind me to breathe before speaking? That's gratitude. Not for the event, but for the opportunity it brought. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Let it reshape how you face tomorrow. Most men live reactively. The Stoic lives to refine himself. He doesn't crave comfort. He forges clarity. When pain arrives, he meets it with calm. Not panits. He doesn't embrace every situation, but he refuses to leave without learning. Make this a daily practice, not a weekly one. Root gratitude in your pain. Plant it in scarcity. Watch your mind. Shift not toward forced positivity, but toward true emotional independence. This gratitude keeps you steady in chaos, focused amid noise, and fully present in ways others can't match. 7th, let time shrink your problems. A small flame looks massive when your face is too close. But step back, and it's just a flicker. That's time's power over troubles. It doesn't alter events, it changes how you see them. Yet most men never step back. They live with their noses pressed against every slight, every insult, every delay, burning in moments that should have passed. Time is the Stoic's scalpel, cutting through the illusion that the present is everything. It teaches you to ask better questions. Will this matter in a month, a year, 5 years? Suddenly, the jab, the cancelled plan, the missed chance feels lighter. Most things that shake you are fleeting, they don't last forever. And a mind that waits avoids suffering twice. You miss a flight. A business deal falls through. Someone forgets to say thank you. In that moment, your heart races. Your mind spins, crafting stories, rehearsing retorts, nursing grudges. But what if you pause not to deny the moment, but to see beyond it? Whisper to yourself, this will pass. A year from now, I won't even recall it. That thought alone draws the venom from nearly every emotion, not through force, but through perspective. The mistake many make is believing urgency equals importance. They treat every argument as final, every error as catastrophic, but urgency is a lie. The Stoic knows this. He doesn't rush to fight battles time will resolve. He conserves his energy. He discerns which pains to confront and which to endure. This isn't indifference. It's discipline. Imagine standing in a storm. Rain pouring, winds howling. You're soaked, shivering, angry at the sky. But someone tells you the storm will pass in 5 minutes. You won't panic. You'll wait. That's the power of perspective, standing firm. Not because it's easy, but because you know it's temporary. You suffer more when you believe the storm lasts forever. But the wise man knows most don't. Seneca reminded us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Apply time to your pain, and you diminish the grip of fantasy. A slight fades by next week. A failure becomes a stepping stone by next year. A broken heart turns to memory with softened edges over time. When you grasp this, you stop bleeding from small cuts. Here's a simple practice. When something bothers you, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, how long will this matter? Answer honestly. The truth is briefer than your reaction. That's your cue to let go. And letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Let emotions come. Feel them. But don't let them shape who you are. Let time wash them away while you stand resolute. You don't need to react to every irritation. You don't need to justify your calm to those who thrive on haste. What you need is to know peace grows when your perspective widens. Make time your ally. Use it to filter what deserves your energy and what doesn't. You'll see how many problems only seem large because you're too close. Step back. Breathe. Zoom out. 5 years from now, most of what troubles you today won't matter. So don't let fleeting clouds block your light. Let time reveal what truly counts. Let perspective restore your peace. Walk through today with a mind anchored in distance, not noise. That's how you rise quietly. Unshaken. Every man craves strength, not the loud kind that demands attention, but the silent kind that cannot be moved. What you've heard today isn't theory, it's practice. It's the quiet discipline of mastering emotions, the power to pause, reflect, choose, and protect your peace as if your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. As you begin to control reactions, lower expectations of others, and see every frustration as a test of character, you transform. You cease being a slave to emotions. You're no longer pulled in every direction by noise, people, or circumstances. You start living with intention. Stoics aren't saints. They're men like you who struggled but trained their minds daily through reflection, silence, and deliberate response. You can do the same. You don't need perfect conditions to begin. You just need to show up. You need to practice. Remember, inner peace isn't found, it's built. One habit, one choice at a time. So start small today. When someone speaks rudely, don't retort. When plans shift, don't complain. When irritation arises, meet it with awareness. Train your emotional strength like a muscle. Turn every challenge into your training ground. Over time, the world remains noisy, but you won't be. I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. What recent moment tested your peace? How did you respond? Let this space be a journal of your growth, a reflection of who you're becoming. True stillness isn't the absence of conflict. It's a mind that refuses to be swept into chaos. Hold fast to that truth. Live it. Carry it quietly but firmly.